Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Technique Thursday, which also happens to be Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to kick it off by saying I am thankful for you, and I'm also thankful for Chris, as I'm sure many of you are as well. This community is so uplifting and such a blessing to be a part of. So I hope you guys are enjoying your Thanksgiving, enjoying time with loved ones and enjoying some really good food. That's my favorite part. And I just wanted to let you know that. So the other reason I'm here today is, of course, for Technique Thursday. And today I'm going to show you the tri-fold shutter card. So as promised, if you follow along with some of Chris's videos, she did a swap card showcase that featured this stunning card, which was designed by the talented Deb Norman. So I can take zero credit here. So I'm just showing off this card that she made. And so many people thought this was so cool, myself included, that we decided we were going to show it off in a Technique video. So I'm going to bring in, I was going to print this off, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to print. I'm having printer troubles today at work and here, and I know this is going to be hard for you to see, but it's going to help me, and then I'll be sure to share this so that you have the measurements you need. So let's get started. We start with a card base that measures 5.5 by 10.5. So you're going to take the 11-inch side and you're going to cut it at 10.5. And then you're going to turn it and cut it at 5.5. So larger than your standard card base, and ironically, it ends up making a card smaller than a standard card. So let's show you, this is a standard, let's not use red because that's going to be hard for you to see. So this is a standard card, and this is the final finished size of the card. So it's about, I don't know if that's 3/4 of an inch or a whole inch smaller. It is 3/4 of an inch narrower than a standard A2. So just because of all of the fancy folding, it loses some of its width. So this is the card base. It is 5.5 by 10.5. And we're going to score it at 1 3/4. Oh, that was my cutting blade. We're going to score it at 1 3/4, 3.5. Has anyone else ever made that mistake? Oopsies. Good thing it was just a practice one. 7 and 8 3/4. Okay, so now you have the score lines. I'll walk you through what sizes the corresponding papers are, but we're going to just continue to move forward with what we do next. Okay, so your first score line is at 1 3/4, and you're going to set your card base at the 1.5 inch mark. So you're going to be cutting at 1.5 between your score lines. So between your 1 3/4 and your 8 3/4. So you're going to be careful about this, that you don't go too far. You're probably going to get my head in here for a second as I find where my score mark is. Okay. So you're going to cut down 1.5, and then you're going to rotate it, set it again at the 1.5 inch cutting line. And again, get a nice view of my hair as it's turning gray. Just kidding. I mean, not kidding, it is turning gray, but that's okay. I earned that. Okay, so I will again walk you through how that was done. I'm gonna move this out of the way too now because I am done with that piece. And like I said, I'll export that so that you can see it because it doesn't show very well. But you took your piece of cardstock, you cut it at 10.5, so you cut 1/2 inch off the long side. You cut it at 5.5, so you've got 5.5 by 10.5. Next, you turn it and you score 1 3/4, 3.5, 7, and 8 3/4. Then you turn it again and you cut at 1.5 inches from the top score line down to the bottom score line. Rotate again, top score line, bottom score line, again at the 1.5 inch mark. Okay, so now your card base is ready to be folded. So you have to be a little strategic about how you fold it. And what you're going to get is, so I'm going to fold here and here and here and here. Oh, of course, that one wasn't exactly where I needed it to be, but that's okay. And then I'm going to fold here and here, and then backwards here and here. Let's see if I did that right. Oh, I missed I missed a fold. Okay. Just gotta massage it. Okay, so I did that quite clumsily, and I'll probably do it. Okay, you guys, if you haven't noticed by now, I have very healthy nails. I actually just cut them because they were too long, and I need to consciously cut my nails. I never make time for that. So before I got real into Stampin' Up, before we had a bone folder and all that stuff, I always used my nail as my bone folder. So that was an old habit coming back. But anyways, you take your bone folder and burnish those edges so that they're nice and crisp. And then you've got your card. Now, like I said, I did not fold that very well. And the reason I didn't fold on all of the score lines is I wanted the cardstock to keep as much integrity as it could have. You know, it's already got a score line through it in places that we're not going to be folding. So if I folded on score lines that aren't needed, it would kind of make the card base itself a little more flimsy. So I tried to be strategic about how I folded it. So we're going to do hills and valleys. So a hill fold is an upwards facing fold because it makes like a mountain. It's probably mountain and valleys. It sure is. You guys, I'm still getting over a cold and it's gone into sleep deprivation because my boys have been keeping me up at night and my cough has been keeping me up at night too. So like I'm a little spacey sometimes, but bear with me. So we've got the mountains because they create a peak, and the valley fold is where the fold goes down. So to achieve this card base at the 1 3/4, you're going to push it back or push it under, which would be a mountain fold. Then at the 3.5, on the top and bottom of the card, you're going to make another mountain fold. Then at the let's see here. So that was 1 3/4 and 3.5. So on the inside at the 3.5 score line, you're going to make a valley fold. So that will get you this far. Then we need to take care of the back half of the card. So we've got a score line here, which this was at, let's see here. I think it was 6, I think it was at 7 inches. And you're going to, on the inner flap, make a mountain fold. And on the top and bottom, you're going to make your valley folds. Okay, so that's going to almost finish the card. And then last but certainly not least, at this 8 3/4, you're going to make your last valley fold. So then when you kind of crease at the right places in the right directions, you'll get your fold, or you'll get your card to fold together, and then that's when you'll take your bone folder and really burnish those edges nice and crisp, and you'll have your functioning card. What do you think? It's quite a bit simpler than it looks. It is truly an extremely impressive looking card. This is a card that you definitely want to send to someone who is likely going to put it on display, because it's become a work of art at this point. And let me grab my catalog so I can tell you more about the products that were used to create this stunning work of art. So this is one of my favorite things in the holiday mini catalog. It's called Painted Christmas. It jumped out at me right from the start. So she used the Christmas season stamp set and dies to create these labels, as well as you can see here, there's some like evergreen twigs that are in garden green and evening evergreen. So that just adds a little bit of texture and some color up there. The pine cones are stamped and then die cut using the Christmas season bundle. And then you've got some stamping of the holly and berries on the inside, which this is where you would sign. So this also is a perfect card for the people that don't know what to sign in cards. Because look it, you have just enough room to sign your name. You don't need to come up with anything else to put on there. So that's another reason why you're going to want to make this card. And then the true highlight of this card is really the DSP. So we've got the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, which is a beautiful hand-painted looking DSP. She's got pieces of various pieces, the different patterns throughout this card that really helps to make the card just pop out at you. It's so gorgeous. I know cards never look as beautiful on screen as they do in person, but I'm like looking up at my screen thinking, gosh, this card, even on the screen, is just a stunning card. So, Deb, thank you so much for sharing this card with us, and thank you for letting us share it with everyone else as well. So, I will drop the measurements in the comments for those of you who would like to recreate this card. And if you do, please share either a picture of it or you know, tell us that you're going to do it. Maybe it's not hitting your to-do list right now because of the crazy holiday season, but we'd love to know that this inspired you, and definitely would love to see your beautiful creations if you do have the opportunity to make one. So that again is the tri-fold shutter card, which was designed or created by Deb Norman, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it wasn't too confusing. I tried to make it as simple as possible, and hopefully that made sense to you, and I really hope you are having a fantastic Thanksgiving, and look forward to the holidays ahead. So you will or will not, is there a live tonight? You will not catch Chris making cards live tonight, because you know what? It's a holiday, so.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a replay.
So I hope you're enjoying your holidays, and we will catch you next week.